Welcome to the We Shine Well podcast, where I have real conversations with thought leaders in wellness to help you live your most vibrant, aligned, and purposeful life. I'm your host, Zoe Kelsey, founder of We Shine Well. Here, we share honest stories, gems of wisdom, and insight to spark clarity and guide your next right step, so you can shine brighter from the inside out. Now let's dive in. I love today's conversation. It's one that will feel like a deep exhale. I'm joined today by Susy Schieffelin, sound healer, spiritual teacher, entrepreneur, and the founder of the Copper Vessel and the Sound Healers Academy. Susy's work has touched millions, but what I love most about her is the way she embodies softness, presence, and trust in every season of life. In this episode, we explore sound as medicine, sobriety as initiation, motherhood and marriage as spiritual teachers, and what it looks like to build a life and body of work without force or burnout. This is an invitation to slow down, listen, and remember another way is possible. Let's dive in. Hi, Susy. I am so excited to have you on the podcast today. It's been so fun to get to know you over the years, and you are just one of the most vibrant lights of a human that I'm like, I just feel like a better person when I'm around you because your energy is just like so infectious.
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel the same way about you. You are such a light, Zoe, and thank you so much for having me today. It's such a joy to be here with you. I'm so excited and loving this podcast so far and so honored to get to be one of your first guests.
Well, thank you so much. So diving in, I'd love to, you have so many years of sound healing and teaching and all of this incredible experience. So take us back to the beginning, before Copper Vessel, before millions of people have experienced the goodness of your sound healing. What happened in your life that spurred you to even find sound healing?
Oh my gosh. So going all the way back to childhood, when I was really little, I was so connected to angels. And I've always been such a sensitive being, but when I was little, I felt all these connections to angels and nature. And my mom even had come up with an angel lullaby for me. So I just always felt tapped into the universe and to beyond what we can see with our physical eyes. I was such a happy, bright little child. And when I was around 7 years old, I still don't know if something happened or what, but I started having nightmares about fire. And I began to experience a condition called alopecia, which is basically unexplained hair loss. And back then it was literally just one tiny little bald spot. But I had 3 younger sisters and we all had this beautiful bright blonde hair, and we were known in my hometown, Greenwich, Connecticut, as the 4 blonde Schieffelin girls. And so when my hair started to fall out, I was like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? And my mom took me to a dermatologist. They were back then, they didn't know really anything about alopecia. This was, over 30 years ago now. They were no cause, no cure. We don't know what to tell you. So she started taking me to all these alternative healers. And from a young age, I didn't know at the time that it was a Reiki healer, but I went to a Reiki healer who told me that there was all this light shooting out of the crown of my head. I went to acupuncturists and I got TCM. Oh my gosh, I went to Ayurvedic healers and practitioners and just began this journey of trying to fix myself, which as I was trying to fix myself, I developed this story inside of me that there was something wrong and that I, was broken in some way. And I developed a lot of anxiety, which maybe had to do with my hair. Maybe it caused it. I don't fully know, but my mind was very loud and I was constantly just so anxious that someone would see my bald spot and figure out that, I was losing my hair or something was wrong with me. And it really just took up so much mental space. And from a young age, I was suffering. And when I was in middle school, I had my first drink of alcohol, and not the first time, but the second time after that, I drank to the point of blacking out. And I think one of the things that triggered that was really the fact that my inner voice was so loud and so critical and so
Mhm.
self-conscious and self-aware that once I started drinking, that
Mhm.
voice got quieter. And it was like I
Mhm.
just wanted to check out. And alcohol gave me that ticket
Mhm.
to not literally not even knowing what was going on.
Mhm.
Um, so I was like this middle school, high school, college party girl. And, I think on the outside it looked just like I was a party girl, but on the inside, the more I drank, the more shame I felt on top of the shame and anxiety I already felt from experiencing alopecia.
Mhm.
So I ended up going down a pretty dark path. And in my 20s, after college, moved to New York City. I went to culinary school, which was so much fun and I absolutely loved and I learned so much and got my foot in the door of the hospitality industry, which
Mhm.
also supported my partying lifestyle.
Yeah.
And yeah, I started taking prescription medication for my anxiety, which then led me to start not only blacking out, but passing out and waking up
Mhm.
all over, waking up in the hospital, waking up places I didn't know how I got there. It was really scary and it was going down a pretty dark path really quickly.
Mhm.
So I knew from, my early 20s that I needed to stop drinking. I needed to find a new way, but I really didn't know what that looked like. My whole life had been sort of like built around my like partying lifestyle and working in hospitality and sort of, yeah, just a life that was not working for me. And it continued like that. And on the outside, it looked really fabulous. I was like at all these beautiful parties and I was assisting, incredible, super high end clients. And my job at that point, when I was nearing rock bottom, was literally to make the impossible possible for people. I was like a high
Mhm.
end concierge working at hotels in New York City and the private residences at the plaza. But on the inside, I just felt so lost and so disconnected. And there were periods where I was getting hundreds of injections in my scalp every month trying to get my hair
Oh
to grow back.
gosh.
There were periods where I was wearing wigs. There was periods where I was like spraying my hair so you couldn't and just hiding it. Like I kept it a secret. I didn't want anyone to know. It was just like this shame that I carried. And
Mhm.
in 2015, I hit a real rock bottom. I had been in a long-term relationship that I ended, and even after ending that relationship, I could not stop drinking. I just felt like I couldn't be with myself as I
Mhm.
existed. And I went out one day in New York for like a boozy brunch and I went to a concert and had this like whole day out. And when I got home that night, I couldn't stop crying and I just didn't want to live. And
Mhm.
I don't fully remember what happened. All I remember is kind of like a flash of being in my bathtub with like all my pills around me. And I woke up the next morning. I had written a note to my family, and I don't know what I did or didn't do, but I woke up and I was alive. And
Mhm.
I had this message in my mind that was like, Susie, wake up and live, and I
Mhm.
knew deep down that like I had not been able to take my own life that night because there was a new way for me. So I called my mom, I called my work, and I was like, I need to stop drinking. I need to get help. And I began a new path, which is a path of really stepping into a journey of sobriety first, which didn't happen overnight. I went to rehab and I still didn't stay sober after getting out of rehab. I was like smoking weed for a little bit after that. But in rehab, I began a daily gratitude practice. I did
Mhm.
music therapy, which was really like my first intro to a form of sound healing.
Mhm.
And I started to connect with the moon, which I hadn't done since I was a child. There was a full moon eclipse when I was in rehab, and I remember looking up and just crying as the moon turned red and being like, there's hope. Like, I
Mhm.
can let go of all of this anger and sadness. I'm getting emotional and just like feeling like I was broken for so long.
Mhm.
And there could be another way. And when I got home from rehab, I meditated every day. I was working in New York City, taking the train, practicing TM, going back and forth and doing my gratitude practice. And I started to notice these signs and synchronicities like the moon. I started to notice like 11:11 on the clock or thinking of someone and then they would call me. And I
Mhm.
just started to follow these breadcrumbs and they led me out to California. And when I moved out here in 2016, I knew two people, and one of them was my amazing aunt, who is just like such a soulmate for me. I'm so grateful for her. She's played such a huge role in my journey. And she said, Susie, do you want to go to a sound bath?
Mm-hmm.
And I was having panic attacks at that point, like regularly, and
Mm-hmm.
really just like feeling like something big was coming and not knowing what to do. And I just moved across the country and I went to this sound bath, and in it, I felt like what I had been searching for all those years. I felt
Mm-hmm.
whole and I felt at home and I felt calm.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got out of it, I was like, what just happened? I felt
Oh my
amazing.
God.
But it didn't last that long. Like it lasted for that day. But then the next day I woke up and I was still me, still feeling anxious, like doing my best, but like still had a lot of work to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept going to sound baths. And in moving to California, really not knowing anyone, it was like Friday night, what am I going to do? Go to a sound bath. Saturday night, what am I going to do? Go to a sound bath. And I met a Reiki healer at one of the sound baths that I went to, and I started seeing her for treatments. And little by little, it was really only a couple months. It was like from
Mm-hmm.
July to October of 2016, things started to change so quickly. Like I started to feel peaceful. I got off my anxiety medications. I stopped having panic attacks. I had gained so much weight from like drinking and just having so much inflammation. And I had lost like almost 40 pounds, not in 4 months, but like over the
Yeah.
course of a year, it was like falling off me. The light came back in my eyes
Oh
and
my
everyone was like,
God.
what are you doing? And I was like, something is shifting. Like something's, and I was able to stay sober finally after so many years of struggling.
Wow.
Um, and so I just kept going to Emma's. Yeah, that
Oh
was
my
like,
God. Well, even right here, like, I have full body chills right now because I feel like I've known parts of your story, but it's just like, I feel like the most vibrant people, and like, you are one of the most vibrant people. It's like, you go through some shit to come out on the other side to be like,
Mhm.
where is my light? And it sounds like you followed those not so great breadcrumbs to the depth, but you awaken to like, okay, like there's something higher than myself. It's not just like me. I meant to live a greater life. And like, what are those breadcrumbs of trust and surrendering leading you back to California, the sound bath with your aunt that's led you to like just awaken to who you are and who you're
Mhm.
meant to be. Wow.
Mhm. So true. It's so true. Yeah. And I mean, like, the journey didn't stop there, right? Like, that even I feel
Yeah.
like was like a whole new beginning. And at that point, circling back to the whole beginning of it with alopecia, like, I was still losing my hair. I was trying everything. I got so healthy. I was eating so clean, doing autoimmune paleo, like getting acupuncture every week. I was sober. And as this continued, it finally hit this point where I had also been doing a lot of, therapy. I had been writing letters to my alopecia, like expressing my emotions about it, expressing my anger, finding healing around it. Finally started to see that it was the alopecia and losing my hair that led me to where I was. And it had not been
Yeah.
this thing that was like plaguing me and trying to destroy me. It was this thing that was actually guiding me. And it was a teacher for me. And it
Mhm.
didn't happen overnight, but eventually I got to the point where I was like, okay, like if God wanted me to have hair, I would. I've done everything. Like
Mhm.
I've done so much healing. And in 2019, I just knew I was like, it's time for me to stop wearing a wig. It's time for me to shave my head and like just accept who I am. And I remember because at that point I had a fairly big social media following, and I'd been like wearing a wig and all the things. And I started to plant the seed and like come out of the closet that like I'm secretly like kind of bald. And then shit, man, I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm actually fully bald, and it felt so vulnerable.
Mhm.
And once I did that, I feel like that's when everything really took off. Like I just
Mhm.
like left this prison of my own mind where I was like, I embrace the fact that like I need to be sober. Like I choose to be sober. That's a huge part of my journey. Like drugs and alcohol do not work for me. Like I need to be clear in my body. And I've always been really open about that. And that was so liberating, like not having the shame and secrecy of like, something's wrong with me. Like I'm hiding the fact that I've experienced alcoholism, like owning that. And then coming out of the closet being like, I don't freaking have hair. And that's okay. And then it was like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. At first it was so scary, but then it was like, I don't have to hide anymore. I can be who I am. I can go out in the world and just be free. And after that, I met my husband 6 months later, which was like the craziest thing because my biggest fear was like, who would love me if I was bald? Like I truly thought for so long I would be this like freak. And I shaved my head and I was like, I've never felt more like myself, more beautiful, more radiant. And then like my dream man walks into my life and it's just been, yeah, like amazing. And the healing continues. There's been so much. It never ends. But yeah, just to be able to see, and really, I think sound is what opened it up for me to see that sound in the moon, that we are not alone. Like when I accepted the parts of myself that I believed were broken or that something was wrong with me, it liberated me. And I could see that like nothing was ever wrong. Actually, these have been the greatest gifts, like my greatest teachers for the struggles.
Yeah. And it sounds like you got that aliveness back in yourself because you were choosing to fully see yourself truly as like you're made to be, like God given by the universe, like, and allowing people to fully see you for that. And like, it's no surprise that you become a magnet when you're able to be fully seen and like who you're meant to be as well.
Yeah. And it's so much easier said than done, right? Like when you're in it and you have that thing, which I know we all do, whether it's like people think it's their boobs are too big or too small, or their butt or their nose, or they have a scar or whatever. It's like we tell ourselves that something's wrong with us. And yet nothing is. Like these things that make us who we are, and I'm just using physical examples. They could also be things that we've gone through. Like when we own them, when we can do the work to come to that place of like acceptance. And then like, for me, I think it's gratitude that really changed everything, where it wasn't just being like, okay, I experienced alopecia. It was like, wow, I'm actually grateful that I experienced alopecia. Whoa. Like that opened up every door because it literally dissolved all the shame that I had felt for my entire life.
Where do you feel like you are in your journey today of like embracing and accepting having alopecia?
It's interesting because, I mean, first of all, I'm so grateful. Like, I think if my hair were to grow back fully, I would still shave it. Like, I have some hair, like I have a little bit. I shave it every morning, which is kind of like a nice Zen ritual. But it's, like it just feels like who I am. It was great during the pandemic when people couldn't like cut and color their hair. I was like, I'm fine. But the interesting thing I will say is that I've had this experience over the past few years. I'm a mama and I have 2 beautiful babies, and I have also 2 angel babies. I've gone through 2 miscarriages. And after giving birth or going through a postpartum experience, I've lost either part of my eyebrow or some of it. And last year I experienced a miscarriage and have they're drawn on now if anyone's seeing this on video. Like I fully lost my eyebrows. I have like 4 hairs on my eyebrows, and that is like hard for me to wrap my head around a little bit because I'm like, oh really? Like I really like having eyelashes and eyebrows. Like I'm cool with my hair being gone now, but it's like another level. But at the same time, I'm also like, okay, is this something that I'm really going to give a lot of mental energy to? No, it's not productive. So I wake up and I have like eyebrow pencils everywhere and I just draw them on and they get smudged off and I draw them back on. And sometimes I'm in public and I realize they've been smudged off and I'm like, okay, like I think I respect myself and I love myself, but I don't take myself that seriously anymore. And I think that's it. Like nobody cares if I have eyebrows. Nobody cares if I have black hair, blonde hair, blue hair, no hair. It's just how you hold it. How you hold it is how you experience it. And if I'm like sad every day that I have no eyebrows or no hair, like that's not the most joyful or productive use of my time and energy. Like I would so much rather use my time and energy to be present for my children, be present for my work, be here with you, not like thinking, my house. Like,
Yeah.
no.
I mean, I'd rather be hanging out with somebody like you that has incredible energy over hair or anything else. Like, energy is like more important
Totally.
than anything. Like,
Mhm.
hair is the external, but I feel like the true beauty is like what radiates from the inside out, and it sounds like that is like the true joy that you have like reclaimed. And like, even in sobriety, it's like choosing not to numb out. And how,
Yeah. Mhm.
and like, even in that, like, through sobriety, how has that changed the way that you like trust yourself, you live on purpose, and like are open to like creative opportunities in your own creativity?
Yeah. I mean, sobriety has changed everything for me, like truly. And I think it started the thing that really like the foundation of what sobriety has given me is this ability to kind of like we're talking about right now, let go. Like
Mm.
let go and embrace the fact that I don't have to be the one running the show. Like I can
Mhm.
really turn my life over to my higher power and trust that everything in this moment is exactly the way that it's supposed to be. Whether I like it or not, like if I trust that everything and everyone is exactly the way they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to do, and I accept it, it gives me so much freedom and liberation and so much more energy to then show up in a way that's productive. So being sober allows me to have that clarity where I think when I was drinking and using, there was a lot of things that I said and did that, first of all, weren't honest, that also weren't in alignment with my values and with who I am. And
Mhm.
there was a lot of mornings that I would wake up and wonder, like, what did I say or what did I do? Or just feel like that's not it. Like,
Yeah.
that's not who I am.
Mhm.
And in sobriety, like, I show up and I keep my side of the street clean. Like I allow people the dignity of their own experience. And I, of course, set healthy boundaries, but like I show up and I do my best to be a woman of integrity and live by my values, which my top three values are honesty, kindness, and love.
Mhm.
Authenticity is in there. Yeah, there's so many. I could list them, but like, an abundance, right? And when I show up and I live from that place, like I don't have to worry about what I said yesterday, or I don't have to mentally like freak out about what I said last week or what I did or why my hair is the way it is or isn't. It's like I can just trust that like I'm living in alignment with not just my plan and the way that my ego thinks my life should be, but really with God's plan. And I just turn it over to, for me, God is love. Like that's what my higher power is. And I've been able to see that everything in life either like presents openly as love, where I'm like, oh, this is love, like this is beautiful, or it's guiding me to a deeper experience of love, whether it's guiding me to have an experience of forgiveness or
Mhm.
compassion or acceptance or patience. Like those are all elements of love that I think when things happen that don't feel like what I would have planned,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like where's the lesson here? Like everything holds a lesson or a blessing. That's what I've learned. Sobriety's really taught me that.
Mhm. Yeah, and it sounds like leading with that love and just like trust and gratitude as well. So like, maybe somebody who's listening knows somebody who is going to alcohol or drugs or is themselves, like, what would you say to them in this moment for like what's possible?
Mm, I would say, oh my gosh, that you never have to drink or use again, that there is another way. Like it might feel like letting go of drinking alcohol or taking drugs is like giving something up, but it's actually creating space for a life that's so much more incredible than you can even imagine with your mind.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just like one day at a time, one moment at a time. It's like a moment to moment choice of like, I think one thing that I've really learned is if you have to ask, like there's probably a reason, right? Like for
Yep.
me, if I'm like, is this off? Like if I'm like wondering or like need to ask someone, like, do you think this is off? Like it's probably because something within me, my intuition is telling me it's off. And I
Mm-hmm.
used to really like crowdsource that a lot from other people of like needing that guidance and reflection of like, like, do you think he's the one? Like, if you have to ask, he's probably not the one. Like
Yeah.
if your heart is like, he's like, when I met my husband, it was just like, just keep saying yes. It wasn't like fireworks.
Mm.
It was just like, my mind wasn't trying to convince me that he was the one. It was almost like, are you sure? And my inner voice was like, just keep saying yes. Just keep saying yes. And I think
Okay.
like for me, as it relates to someone who is maybe thinking about not drinking or not using, like if this conversation is speaking to you right now, there might be a reason why.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of people who are probably hearing this and they're like, oh, cool, great for her. But if you're like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, that kind of resonates for me, like there might be a reason. And
Mm-hmm.
it might be because the universe or your higher power, God, source, spirit, whatever you connect with, is inviting you into something even greater than you
Mm-hmm.
can see right now. A life that's really, truly full of happiness and peace and joy.
Yeah. And there are
Yeah.
also so many, like, drugs and alcohol are one way to numb out, or multiple, but there are also so many ways that, like, in our culture, like, even phones are, like, designed to be eye candy for us to get those, like, quick dopamine hits. Or, like, I grew up and I
Mm.
had, like, anorexia, and that's, like, numbing out with food in another way. So it's like, it's all it all I feel like goes back. They're like different variations, but there's so much numbing. And like, how can we it brings me back to the quote is like, as we get older, it's like, how can we unbecome who we aren't to become who we truly are? And like, even this past year, I feel like it's physically been like, okay, what is this armor that I'm like holding on to that's like no longer mine? And we talked about this even prior to recording, is like, what got me here won't get me there. And if we operate from an
Mm.
outdated like software system per se, like,
Mm.
how is that going to open up possibilities, or like what is truly meant for us to live on purpose?
It's so true. It's so true. What do you find helps you the most when you feel it's time for a software upgrade?
Mm, that's a good question. I feel like I walking is like,
Mm.
I like walk all of the time, like there's specifically in Santa Barbara along the ocean, just
Mm.
like completely unplugged, just like even in prayer. But also breath work, I feel like is one of the most powerful things for me, with sound healing too, as like the integration to just be like, okay, it's like me and God, and just like, I just have wild visualizations, and there's so much clarity that's undeniable. It's like, yes, this is truth. Okay. Like, this is what the next step is for me. That might not make sense, like, on paper, but I'm choosing to be here and opening myself up to, like, what is possible and, like, what is meant for me, and, like, trusting those breadcrumbs as we talked about.
I love that so much. I love that so much. No, and it's what I really hear is it's like letting go and creating the space. Like when you
Mhm.
go for a walk, when you do breath work, when you lie down and listen to the sound bath, it's creating space to not numb out, whether it's through and especially as you mentioned, technology. Like that's something I've been feeling so much this year in 2026 so far. Like
Yeah.
I deleted Instagram off my phone, I deleted Gmail off my phone, and the first week of that, I was like, oh my gosh, I did not even realize how
Mhm.
much space was being taken up mentally and energetically just by having this in my field constantly throughout the day. Right. And
Mhm.
so to have that conscious time, like you do, what you said is like to go for a walk, to just be disconnected and unplugged and let yourself feel and also
Mhm.
let yourself hear the messages from God, from the universe, from yourself that want to come through and then be like,
Mhm.
oh, that might feel inconvenient. That might feel scary, but like not listening isn't going to make it go away. Right.
Mhm.
And to
Yeah.
have the courage to follow it. So beautiful. Well, and the breath work and the sound supports that nervous system expansion as you
Mhm.
open to whatever the messages are that are guiding you into that new
Yeah.
chapter, the new software upgrade.
Well, also, I want to get into like sound healing too with you. Like, and you're, as a sound healer yourself, do you go to friends who are sound healers to like have that experience versus just like to receive versus just giving all of the time? Quick break. This time of year always feels like a transitional season for me when my energy's shifting, my hormones are asking for a little extra love, and I'm paying closer attention to what actually supports me day to day. Right now, as a founder, my days feel pretty full. And that's why I lean on simple rituals that actually support my energy and now has quality products that make it easy. I start my day with Now's Magtine powder for cognitive support and mental clarity, especially when I need to be focused for recording podcasts, hosting events, and more. Midday, I'll grab my favorite homemade trail mix with Now's raw pumpkin seeds, such an easy pick-me-up and a bonus for hormone support. When I need a quick reset between calls, I keep Now's Blissful Balance Aroma Mist nearby. A couple sprays helps me refocus without reaching for more caffeine. And at night, I wind things down with Now's Gentle Balance Cream Cleanser and diffusing a lavender essential oil from their Let There Be Peace and Quiet kit to tell my nervous system that it's time to chill out. I trust Now because they're quality obsessed, running over 31,000 quality tests every month, so I know exactly what I'm putting in my body and on my body to support your mind and body. Head to nowfoods.com and use code WESHINE for 20% off products you can trust through the end of the year. This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's so important to receive. And I'll admit there's been periods, I mean, I've been sharing sound for 10 years now. And there's been periods over that 10-year period where I've like gotten light on my attendance of sound baths. And it makes a huge difference. Like when I am really practicing what I preach, not just by like playing the bowls for myself, but going to sound baths. I now have an album, so I'll also listen to my own sound baths on my album or in my membership. But like there's something about receiving from someone else. Like to some extent, even when I'm listening to my own, my mind's like, ooh, which bowl was that? Oh, I love that. Oh, that could. So to go and to receive and to be held by someone else is so important. So important.
And can you explain like what is literally happening in our bodies when we are experiencing sound healing and even in our nervous systems?
Oh my gosh, well, so much. So first of all, our bodies are over 70% water. And so the sound is moving through the water. You can literally see if you hold a bowl that's filled with water and you were to play it, you can see the sound moving through it. And that's what's happening with us as we lie back and relax in a sound bath. Like the sound is washing through us on a cellular level. And in doing so, it effortlessly shifts and helps us to release the things that we might have been holding on to that we may not even realize. Like there may be things that we hold on to physically, past traumas, old stories, energies that maybe are ours or aren't even ours. They could be from this life, they could be from past lives. And the sound will help to clear and really lift that from us. The sound also, depending on which type of sound healing you're experiencing, but for me, I work with the chakra system with my singing bowls. And so different bowls work with our energy centers and they connect with them and help to clear them, open them, activate them, and bring us into a state of balance and harmony. So it's really like a cellular alignment. All of this is also completely supportive of really balancing our nervous systems in a sound bath. The sounds will help to shift us out of the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight, into the parasympathetic. So that's rest and digest. So we can really just relax and have a nervous system reset. There's also a whole nother element of it, which I love to talk about. It's like the more scientific side of just the brainwave states that sound can support us in getting into, where for someone like me, especially where I have a very busy mind, very loud thoughts for so long. I mean, I've had yoga meditation practices in my life my entire life, and I still like I started practicing Bikram 26 and 2 when I was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
Still was like no, meditation not gonna work for me. Like I remember in my 20s being like meditation would heal what I'm going through, but I'm gonna actually like take Klonopin instead. Like I need benzos
Yeah.
to quiet my mind. I need to just numb out. And sound, it goes where no other medicine or modality can. Like the waves of sound will entrain with our brain waves in 60 to 90 seconds. So quickly they create this shift where you could come into a sound bath in high beta or like you're just in this anxious state. And within a matter of seconds or minutes, they'll help to shift you down into alpha, down into theta, down even into delta, which these are brainwave states associated with deep states of rest, relaxation, meditation, creativity. In those states, we can receive so many downloads in theta. That's where you are during REM sleep. So it's like in a sound bath, you can feel like you're dreaming. And I don't know if you've had this experience, but it's like I sometimes have these amazing downloads and visualizations. It's like I'm going on a journey and I can sort of like see into the future. Have you had that?
Yeah, my friend who's like the breathwork instructor, she's like, Zoe, where did you go today?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I met my future husband and daughter. She's like, what?
Yeah. No, it's amazing. I mean, I had one experience where like I literally saw an entire, oh my gosh, like stadium, thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I was in a meditation. And when I came out of that meditation, I had an email asking me if I would play my singing bowls at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh my gosh. How often
And
do you feel like you go into that state every time?
It's different every time. Like, I don't think I always get into that same exact state. A lot of times what happens for me is I end up in more delta, which is like, I call it the place. I say it's like, you're not quite awake. You're not quite asleep. You're sort of just somewhere else. And you're like, I don't think I was sleeping, but it kind of felt like I was. And the whole experience goes really quickly.
Yeah.
And in delta, that's where I find that like you come out of it and you're not like, oh my God, I saw this and I felt that and I had all these messages. You come out and you're like kind of sleepy, dreamy, maybe your vision's blurry. And then in the days and weeks to come, like you start to experience what I call a quickening, where like things speed up and you see more signs, more symbols. You like see a rainbow and a feather and you think of the person and they call and then the opportunities come in and the creativity starts to flow and things start to really align. So a lot of times for me, that's where I end up. And that's what I find a lot of people in my sound baths experience. They come out and they're like, my vision's blurry. Is that normal? I'm like, it will come back. It means your third eye's open. They're like, that was like 5 minutes. I'm like, no, it was an hour. You were in Delta and it's the place. And just do some journaling. Do some journaling over the next few days and watch what happens. And miracles happen. It's amazing. So being in those brainwave states, which we get into naturally, like when we sleep at night and if you meditate or even if you're just relaxing, like they're not magical states that we never access. But when we access them consciously with the support of sound, I mean, sound is pure creative potential. It literally is. Like if you look back in any religious text, it's like at first there was the word and the word was God. Like everything is all about sound as creation. So you're in that energy of creation and creative potential in these brainwave states. You can totally reprogram your subconscious. You can tap into your highest possible timelines. And then when you come back, it's an embodied experience. So you're living it right away.
When you do sound healing, does it help people automatically drop in, or are there people that just like resist or have a hard time getting into that? Because I mean, we've gone to alternate universes there, but like there's a level of openness, it seems like, for somebody to experience this as well.
Yes. And even if you're open, there may be times when you have an experience where you're like, oh, whoa, that was not the relaxing journey I thought I was going to go on. It's totally normal. And especially I would say if you have a lot to clear. One of my teachers says that meditation is like cleaning out a sewage tank, like a septic tank. Whereas sometimes you sit to meditate and it's like more thoughts come up. And this doesn't happen every time, but when that does happen, if that happens, you're feeling a lot of resistance, you feel even more anxious, your mind is just getting really loud. It's like if you can experience those thoughts, if you can experience those feelings, those sensations without judging them, without trying to stop them, right? Like we're talking about without numbing and trying to get rid of them. If you're like, wow, this is what's here, I'm going to be with it. They will pass, they will clear, and you will leave feeling so much lighter. You might feel a little like hungover after an experience like
Okay.
that. But the next time you come, you will go deeper. Like sometimes there's a lot more of a physical or a mental clearing that needs to take place, and that's totally normal.
Mm-hmm. And we live in such a world of urgency and hustle and pushing, and sound requires true softening. And I believe that true healing requires softening. So say somebody comes to experience sound, how do you recommend people take that softness into their lives and even like find power in softness over just hustle?
Yeah. Well, sound is a sound in its nature is a feminine energy. And the feminine is really the softness of feminine, which feminine can be fierce too, but like the softness that comes with that is it's about receptivity. And in a sound bath, really what you're doing is receiving. Like you lie down, there's nothing you need to do, there's nowhere else you need to be. It's not an active practice, it's not like you have to move. It's not even like you have to focus on a powerful breath. Like you are just receiving and you receive the sound. And so I think to carry that sort of experience of softening into the rest of your life, I would say to play around with your relationship with receiving, with receptivity. I think, especially as women, we can be such givers. And for me, like, I love to give. And sometimes my giving is an overgiving, and sometimes it's a form of wanting to control, wanting to feel safe, because if I'm the one giving, then I don't have to be in the uncertainty and the unknown of like, what if I open to receive and I don't get what I want? Right? That's
Mhm.
really vulnerable.
Yeah.
And how many times has that happened to us as women, especially in relationship with men, where we like open and then we feel dropped and we're
Mhm.
disappointed. So we close and we're like, well, I'll just be the one to plan the date next time. I'll just be the one to figure it out and take the lead.
Yeah.
But I think to soften and open to receive really creates the space for magic to come in,
Mhm.
for things to work out even more beautifully than we could imagine.
Mhm. And how do you take that softening and just like giving and receiving energy, and like what has that taught you in your own marriage and even as a mom?
Mm. It's a dance. Like, if I were to always be in receptivity and softness, like, I wouldn't be a great mom, honestly. Like, it's
Yeah.
like there is an important element of um having balance between giving and receiving, but I think the softening has taught me to be more in joy and to be more in pleasure. And there's a lot of time, I'd say, especially as a mom, where sometimes I'm like, we've got to get somewhere, we've got to do something, this is what I think we
Mhm.
need to do. And of course, like, guiding your children does teach them trust and actually safety. It's important. If I learned this when my son was young, and he was learning around the age of like 18 months, they start to learn manipulation, not from a malicious standpoint, but just like they learn that
Okay.
they can manipulate the world around them. And
Yeah.
so he was pushing on me to like read more books, another book, another book, another book. And I would let him, and I'd be like, oh, I just love this. And to some extent, there's so much beauty in that, and it's so important. And to another extent, sorry, I'm getting on actually a little bit of a tangent. I don't know if this is circling back to the
No,
point,
you're
but
good.
to the extent, like, it is important for me to, if I say we're going to read one book, to honor that, because that teaches him that he can trust me. So, like,
Mm.
boundaries are important. And sometimes there's times when it's like, just be soft, let it all go. And like with them, like, dance for an extra song, or just
Yeah.
open to like letting things be messy. Like, I love to have
Mhm.
my house look like nobody lives in it, but like there's so much magic and joy and just being like, oh, like, okay, we're gonna just like have fun and be messy and be present. And in relationship, the softening, I would say, oof, I want my husband to lead. Like, I want him to show up in a way where I feel held and I feel safe and I feel taken care of. As much as I love to do things myself, like, it does also feel really good for me to feel claimed and cherished and led.
Yeah.
And the only way for him to do that is to have the space to do that. Like if I'm the one planning the date, he doesn't have the space to. And there's been many times where like he plans the date night that we're going to have. We have date night every Tuesday and
Love
we
that.
take turns, but like, well, he'll plan the date and I'm like, that's not where I wanted to go. Like, that's not what I wanted to do. But I don't say anything. And I'm just like, okay. And we go and like, I maybe wouldn't have chosen it, but it's so much more magical than what I would have picked out had it been my own. There's been times that's not the case, but like
Yeah.
opening, and then he gets to show up and like be in his element. And it feels really good to be in that space of softness.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sounds like from that place too, it's like you're allowing yourself to fully be seen and them to see you as you fully are.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's another big one where like I think letting myself be seen as I am, that's something that I've experienced a lot in partnership this past year, where like letting him see me really tender, really emotional. Like we're both really good. We have our people. So like
Yeah.
I have a mentor who says like, don't go to the hardware store for bread. So usually when I want emotional support, like I go to my women. Like I
Mhm.
don't call Mark crying all the time. Like I go to my therapist, I go to my women, I go to my coaches, I go to my team. I let myself be held because
Yeah.
that's what we're designed for as women. Like it nourishes
Mhm.
us to hold space for each other and to feel together and laugh and cry. And there's something really beautiful about like letting him see me in it. And it actually had
Right.
happened this past weekend. Since becoming a mom, the first day of my period is just like, I understand why like they have the red tents. Like now I'm like, why women would like go into the woods to bleed. Like I am just out of my mind and like so emotional and unhinged in a way that like I don't even have time to bring it to my women.
Uh-huh.
And it happened this weekend where like I was in it and on it and I lost it. And I just let him see me in it, like not projecting it at him, but just being like, you've done nothing wrong. And right now I just am feeling so much. Like I just feel sad and I feel angry and I cried and I was like, I love you and this isn't about you and this is where I'm at. And he just, he always rises to meet me there. Like when I'm
Mhm.
not projecting at him, like I just am in it, like this is how I feel. And that's from a place of softness, right? Like
Yeah.
really just offering my heart in an open
Mhm.
way. He was like, I love you. And go to the Korean spa right now. He was like, no, he was in a really, he was like,
Yes.
the afternoon. He was like, go nourish yourself, be alone, cry, journal, get a massage, whatever you need to do. But like, he's like, I love you and you're supported in this. He wasn't making me wrong and that was a moment where I was not equipped to like be like my most grounded mother and hold it down with the kids and partner that
Love
day was
that.
like, and I had tried that morning. Like I tried to power through because I wanted to. I love being with my family. And once I really opened to where I was at and let myself soften and be seen, he was like, go. Like,
Mhm.
like hug me, love you, go.
Mhm. Well, I mean, we aren't meant to just like hold it all together all of the time either. And like emotions are not like, I'm going to save them to when I see this person. I mean, sometimes that happens and then everything comes out, but like emotions are messy and like sideways too. So that's why like we
Mhm.
surround ourselves with those people that, like I mentioned before this, like, are you going to be an anchor that's going to like bring me down or like meet me where I am and lift me up?
Mhm.
And like surrounding ourselves with those people, but also being that person for other people too.
It's so true.
Mhm.
It's so true.
Yeah. Emotions, gosh, they get the best of us. Where can I meet a husband like yours? Dang.
He's the best. He really is.
Uh,
You're calling yours in. You're attracting him. Keep being you. Keep shining as your authentic self. And that's the best way to attract him.
Well, thank you. Well, and it also, like, in terms of, like, softening, how do you relate this to business as well? Because you're in a sabbatical right now in both the
Mhm.
softening and the being and taking that, like, ambitious action and not reaching
Mhm.
burnout as this, like, badge of honor and, like,
Mhm.
redefining success for, like, what does that mean for you?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a really amazing chapter. It's been really challenging and it's been really beautiful.
Mhm.
And so for context, I technically started a sabbatical at the start of this year. And we were speaking before he came on where I like was really good at first. And now I've noticed I'm like, oh, I'm like still working. Like I've softened, I've created space, and it's been harder than I even anticipated to disconnect fully. So I'm like recommitting again. I'm like, here I am talking on a podcast during my sabbatical, but I would do anything for you, Zoe. I love you. And
Love you too.
and after this week, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna really go deeper into it. It's like I'm peeling away the layers. Um, and what I've learned so far, and what has led me to take this period is just, for really a decade, it's been so much creating in the most amazing way. And it started from the beginning of my journey, like where I shared, where I hit rock bottom. I literally was at a blank slate. Like I left my corporate job. I had so much space
Mhm.
where I did what you shared. I walked every day at the beach. I meditated. I sat in the desert for 10 days in silence. I traveled to India. I took all these yoga teacher trainings, and I had all this space of really just listening. And then I began building. And it's been an incredible season of building where I
Mhm.
built the most amazing community. I've gotten to reach millions of people over the world. I've traveled the world. I've created so many programs and offerings. And I started to feel, especially after becoming a mom, like I have changed, as we do, as we all do. Like the nature of life has changed, and we should be changing and growing, especially when I'm doing the type of work that I'm doing, which I continue to do the inner work. And I no longer had the space to really see from a bigger picture vision of like who I am now and create from that place. Like I felt myself creating from the same place of what was comfortable, and I'm doing what I do because it's what I've done and it's what people like and it's what feels familiar.
Mhm.
And it's taken me now almost a year to pump the brakes on that. I would say, like, actually 2 years. I had a message come to me. I was before I let a sound bath. I was pregnant with my daughter in January of 2024. It was 111. I was leading a 111 sound bath. And the
Mhm.
message came in that was get ready to let it all go. And I was like, wait, what?
Mhm.
What does this mean? And so I've just held the message and noticed, like, okay, what wants to be released, and
Mhm.
letting process. Like it really, and I've built something incredible, and I'm not interested in throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Like I'm so devoted to my work and to my community. And I also want to continue to show up from a place of integrity and authenticity
Mhm.
as who I am now. And so this sabbatical really is creating a more defined container of space, because a vacuum doesn't exist in nature. So once I have that, I know
Yeah.
that inevitably whatever is wanting to be born next, which it feels really, really big, which I think is
Mhm.
partially why I'm like having such a hard time pumping the brakes, because my ego's like, no, 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 that feels scary. What's coming next is going to challenge you and stretch you in ways that you haven't touched yet. So it's like to create this space will allow for the next up leveling. And I've experienced that personally, like I shared at my rock bottom, but even in my career, when I founded the Sound Healers Academy in 2021, I had built a lot and I had some really amazing offerings. I remember at that point I was working with a coach, Preston Smiles and Alexi Panos. I love them. I love them so much. I've worked with them for many years. And Preston said to me, he was like, are you okay with not making as much money as you've been making for a couple months so that you can really go to the next level? Right.
Mhm.
And I was like, yeah. And it was like I had no money to do it, but I was like, sure. And I did. I pumped the brakes. And like for a couple of months, I said no to a lot of things in order to say yes to what was coming next, which is the thing that made my business really transcend to the next level and brought it to multi-million dollars, and has grown such a beautiful community where, I mean, the message that had come through before that for me, which is what guided me, was teacher of teachers, healer of healers. And so through this,
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten to become a teacher of teachers and a healer of healers. And in order to create that, I had to pump the brakes and create some space. I went to Hawaii for that. And for this, it's like feels even bigger, like
Mm,
even bigger, even scarier. And it feels like there's a lot more on the line, where now it's like, wow, like I have a home, I have a mortgage, I have a husband, I have children, like I have a huge team. I have so many more responsibilities than I did in 2021 when I pumped the brakes, and it was me and an assistant.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I was dating my husband then. Maybe we were engaged. We were engaged, but
Mm-hmm.
certainly kids, no home, none of that. So, um, it feels like the stakes are high, and that's why I know it's even more important for me to do it.
Are there any glimmers of what you're open to sharing that feels most alive for you right now?
What I will share is that what what it feels like is coming through is it's like a limitless expansion.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about creating a ripple, um, a ripple in new ways, using my voice in new ways, sharing in ways that, um, yeah, I think right now our world is waking up to a new way of being. And there's a real deep inner prayer for peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the work that I'm going to be sharing in this new chapter is going to play a huge role in being a light that helps to guide us toward a new consciousness, and a new way of being in society and in our world that is rooted in peace and abundance, true abundance and
Mm-hmm.
unconditional love, and um, living from the soul rather than living in this kind of chaotic, pretty chaotic world that we're living in
Yes.
right now.
Yeah.
So I think being more of, yeah, a thought leader, and a teacher beyond just sound baths, but like an embodied way of living that is rooted in a deep sense of inner peace.
Mm-hmm. Well, knowing you, you already are that voice, so I look forward to what this looks like, sharing your message and being a voice, even more amplified. And I'm here to amplify it as well. But
Yes.
as we wrap up, what is one truth or reminder you want every listener to carry with them from this conversation today?
Mm, only love is real. Only love is real, and things are working out even better than you can imagine. So
Mm,
when when in doubt, when you feel that inner voice whispering, even if it feels scary, yeah, just ask what would love do and follow that.
mm, I love that. And where can our community connect with you, experience your work, and join your sound healing membership?
So my Instagram is the best place for us to connect, and it is the Copper Vessel. And if you'd love to learn more about my offerings and sign up for my newsletter, which I just send inspirational messages and quotes and updates about my offerings, you can go to thecoppervessel.com. You can also find my album, Angel Aura, which is on Spotify and Apple Music and all streaming platforms. So you can experience a sound bath for free on demand right now, anytime, if you want to see what a sound bath is, if that's new to you. But send me a message. Follow me on Instagram. Send me a message. Let me know that you listened to this episode. Let me know if there were any takeaways, and if I can ever be of service to you in any way, or if you just want to connect, know that I'm here. Really, I think connection is one of the biggest medicines for us, and
Mm-hmm.
in the world we live in today. And when I just shared about returning to peace, it's like really feeling that deep sense of authentic connection with each other, lifting each other up and loving each other as you do so beautifully, Zoe. You're such a light, and you do such a beautiful job of amplifying everyone's shine. And I think when we lift those around us, we all rise together. So I would love to connect and shine and relax and support each other on this journey. And I can't wait to connecting with you and everyone who's listened to this episode.
Yes, right back at you, my friend. We'll link everything in the show notes. And thank you for this beautiful conversation and sharing your light today.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you. Thank you for tuning in to the We Shine Well podcast. If today's conversation lit something up in you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, leave us a review, and dive deeper each week by subscribing to our Substack in the show notes to interact with guests and discover more resources to expand you. Until next time, keep trusting your right next step and keep shining, my friend.